Hi, I'm Joe Chili, mornings from 7 to 9 at Buffalo's oldie station, the Big Weck. Joining us on the Big Weck's Buffalo on the Rise today is Dr. John Wickett from the VA of Western New York. How you doing today?
Pretty good. How are you doing?
You're good. Although I have to tell you, I have a little bit of white coat syndrome, so, you know.
Well, that's okay.
If my blood pressure is a little higher now, it goes down as the show goes on. Just want you to know about that. You know, let's talk about some of the things that, you know, I think that people have heard of but may not understand. What is the PACT Act? I mean, I've heard of that too, and who would be eligible for something like that?
Well, the PACT Act is a piece of legislation that was brought forth in 2022. And what it essentially did was it opened up a whole bunch of veterans to different service-connected disabilities and things like that, based off of their toxic exposures.
So, what kind of toxic exposures are we talking about here? And I guess, is it, you know, maybe Agent Orange? That's something that sounds familiar to me. Somebody that had Agent Orange, would that be eligible under the PACT Act?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, there's a long history of veterans, unfortunately, not getting approved for things, but they've really widened the scope of who is eligible for Agent Orange. There's actually people on many different countries that may qualify for Agent Orange. Thailand has been opened up recently. There's other areas, even stateside, that if you were exposed to Agent Orange, you could possibly be considered service connected for that.
How did they do it? Like a screening? Did they do screenings to check exposure to see if you're eligible?
Yep. So what we do is we talk to you about the places you went, what you did, what your jobs were, and we try and link that up with any possible toxic exposures. You know, we certainly do look at Agent Orange, but we also look at a lot of other things too that veterans have been exposed to, such as jet fuels, Camp Lejeune, other areas that may have toxins. So we kind of take an overall look at the veteran's service history and form a well-formed opinion about whether or not they were exposed to various toxins.
And Doctor, is there a time limit for this? Suppose somebody, you know, came back from Vietnam and they're just now experiencing things, you know, long-term effects or whatever the case may be, but it's just starting to surface as they get older. Is there a span where you're limited to, you know, whatever the benefits might be?
No, I mean, one of the wonderful things about the PACT Act is it's really opened things up. There are even veterans who were never deployed to a combat theater that may qualify under the new PACT Act for benefits. It's really opened up the VA healthcare to almost all veterans that are out there.
You know, that's interesting that you say that. So it may be something like if you came back to the States and you settled someplace, or you brought up a big thing like, you know, because I grew up in Niagara Falls. So, you know, you've got the Air Reserve Base there.
Yeah.
If somebody was exposed to like jet fuel or something from there, or, you know, I understand that, you know, and I probably shouldn't even bring this up, but I understand in latest some of the forever chemicals that there may be underneath, you know, some of those areas because of the jet fuel and things that drained, you know, or the foam that were used by firefighters or things of this nature. Yeah. So something like that. You don't have to be overseas. You don't have to be in Vietnam, Cambodia, whatever.
Nope. No, yeah, those are actually things that are really emerging at this point. The forever chemicals, they're part of a group of chemicals called polyfluorinated substances. And these were used in a wide array of different industrial applications, but firefighting foam is really the one that is the biggest problem with these bases, because what's happened is that foam, after they put out a fire, it really has nowhere to go. So it would just sink into the ground and eventually end up in the groundwater, unfortunately.
And it's not just fires, but from what I understand, even the drills that they used to do, right? And use it in drills and things of this nature, right?
There's constant training in the military for firefighting. So that foam was used all over the place in most bases, actually.
So it doesn't affect your claim if it didn't become effective or happen when you were deployed, basically, is what we're saying.
Correct,
right?
Yeah.
All right. What about veterans' claim that if they've been denied a claim in the past, can they reapply?
Absolutely. You can always put in for another claim. You know, either if it's been, you know, a short enough period of time, you can reopen the claim or keep it open. But if something else pops up, say, you know, 20 years from now, you develop lung cancer and you never smoked, then that's something that really needs to be looked at.
All right, so In our final minute, how long does it take for a claim to be processed, do you think, on average? I know it probably varies, right?
Yeah, it varies greatly. I mean, for a presumptive service connection, which means that if you were exposed to a substance, we presume that the disease is related to that substance, that can actually be pretty quick, in the order of 2 to 3 months. There's also some expedited claims if it's a really severe or life-threatening condition, and those people can get benefits quicker. But on the average, it's about a year, I would say.
All right. For more information and answers to your questions, contact VA of Western New York, the healthcare system, by calling 716-862-8829 or go to buffalo.va.gov. Sponsorship and promotional considerations for the preceding segment was provided by the following.